kick off the meeting now. Welcome everybody. To talk about, the first thing we want to do is talk about next year's meeting topics. And character animator might be something that might be worthwhile to cover in a meeting next year if people are interested in learning about that. So, because yeah, I was going to try to use it for a project for a buddy of mine, and we ended up not doing it, but because it wasn't the right fit. But yeah, I'm amazed at how easy it is to use and what kind of stuff you can create with it. So anyway, but let's talk about that. So I know we don't have a big group tonight, but the group that is here, we'd love to get your input on meeting topics that you would like to have for next year. So things about Premiere, After Effects, any of the Adobe tools. If you want to learn it, you let us know and we'll find someone to present on it.
Okay. Yeah.
So fire away. Who's ever got something they want, just go ahead and unmute yourself and we'll play traffic cop and just don't talk over each other. Be respectful.
Masking, and I don't know if we cover After Effects stuff here.
Yes, that's
yeah. You'll Eric already has. The rest of you will see that I've been playing with Roto Brush and could use some more work on it.
So are you would you want to see something specifically about Roto Brush or just masking / Roto Brush?
Yeah, anything along those lines, really. Yeah.
Okay. We talked about Roto Brush in the past, I think, before, haven't we, DJ? But not recently.
I might have been before my time. I'm fairly recent.
Yeah, we touched on it with our green screen. I think was the last time I really dove into it hard was when we did our green screen piece talking about different ways that you could cut stuff out. But yeah, we could definitely dive pretty hard into the new Roto Brush stuff. And also, like, I think there's a whole thing we could do on like not just Roto Brush, but like rotoscoping in general. Because Roto Brush is awesome for some stuff, and like other stuff you should just use. Actually, I think I might have talked about it last year even. Might have kind of touched on rotoscoping to a certain degree in Mocha, in Roto Brush, and in I don't think I did Nuke, but yeah.
I think that green screen meeting, not to get off topic here, was like one of the last meetings we did in person.
Yeah. Yeah. In the before times.
Yeah. In BC before COVID times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that, and then I don't remember what our February meeting was, and then March was online, and it's been Zoom ever since. Okay, so masking Roto Brush, I have that down. Anybody else? It could be anything Adobe related. So if you've always wanted to learn Audition or whatever, we'll find, like I said, we'll find somebody.
How about doing some sort of like text treatment stuff, like creating Mogerts and things like that? I don't know if we've talked about that before, but just I'm finding that I need to probably learn more of that because I'm seeing a lot of text effects used on like commercials and things that I think like, oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool to be able to do like a lower third like that, but it's not something that's just built into Premiere to easily create some of these effects. So maybe something that could be like another level up.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mogert's just got a new like speed increase inside Premiere when you connect them or bring them in, because they can now use the multi-frame rendering inside from After Effects. So yeah, I think that might be. I know we have talked. I think we talked about like creating Mogerts a long time ago. I think, but yeah, that might be something to sort of go back on. And then yeah, text animation. I think DJ, you and I talked about that, like doing a meeting where you really dive into the text properties in After Effects, and I mean how you can animate per character, per line. I mean, just all using all those properties and all that you can really do with that.
Yeah, and something that I had talked about doing one time before, and we just haven't done that meeting yet, was also like how you can use the built-in text animators in After Effects. Because like a lot of them are really hokey, but if you change the concept of text to like glyphs, and you can create your own fonts with kind of vector imagery that you can then use like those text animators to do like basic generative animation that's like a lot easier and a lot more interesting, and you can do some kind of cool stuff. So that might be a kind of piggyback onto that. I know a guy we could get to do it, but it might be hard to get him. So I'll see what we can do.
Well, let's start pinging him now and see if we can book him
Will do.
next year. So, yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was, but when they did Mogert's, and like one of the big things for me I saw was like you could create a lower third that would automatically resize to whatever name you did, and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like I haven't really seen that, get used all that much. And so, yeah, I think learning how to create Mogert's in After Effects and doing some of those kind of properties, create lower thirds and some other stuff might be a good one to do too. So yeah, no, those are good ideas.
There's a lot of text animation stuff that I think should just be built into Premiere, but they still haven't done anything like that yet. So that's until then, I guess we'll have to do it
That's
the
what-
hard way where you're integrating After Effects in with it one way or the other.
That's where Premiere Composer and falls in with Mr. Horsey.
Oh,
Or whatever, Mr. Horse or whatever it's called. So yeah, dude, I use that thing all the time since DJ showed that. I highly recommend it.
Best thing I ever brought to the group.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm waiting for Black Monday or Black Friday though.
Yeah, dude, pick up everything they have, because trust me, I did, and I use that stuff all the time. The other thing I'll mention too is and I'm hesitant to sort of bring it up because I haven't gotten it to, I've had some issues installing it, but there's a thing called Premiere Pro FX that I saw somebody talk about, one of the YouTube influencers talking about, and so it was $60, so I downloaded it, but I've had some major issues with it, and it probably is just me, so I'm not going to say that but it's an amazing sort of product. It's like the Premiere Composer, but with like a ton more stuff included in it. And it's text effects, transitions, sound effects, all this stuff. And yeah, it's Premiere Pro FX, I think is what it's called. So if you Google it, you can find it. And to be fair too, the issues that I've had, the guy that created it has been extremely responsive in trying to help me troubleshoot. And because basically the problem that I'm having is like, it takes forever to load up because it's got like thousands of assets and things that you can do. So, but anyway, it is really good. I'm going to see if I can get the guy who created it to present. His name is Eric as well. And we all know all cool guys are named Eric. But I'm going to try to get him to present early next year and kind of talk about it and show it to you guys. But yeah, it's a pretty phenomenal thing. And I actually just downloaded a while ago, and I haven't really started using it, another kind of text Mogert system. And I got a free copy of it to test out and play with. And yeah, I'm gonna have that guy kind of come in and talk, and this is all inside Premiere as well. He actually gave me an extra copy to raffle off. I was going to save it until we actually did the meeting, and I played with it a little bit more to kind of show how it is. But but it's really interesting too. So yeah, there is some stuff out there where you can, and After Effects I think just got all new text presets. Correct me if I'm wrong, DJ, but I believe they finally updated after 20 something years the text presets that were in there.
I think so. I haven't actually looked, but I think
Yeah, I think there's a whole
I
bunch.
know it went in beta at some point. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's all worthwhile, Pat. We can talk about After Effects and then kind of cover what's in Premiere as well. So that would be a good meeting topic. Anything else? Don't be shy. There's something you wanted to know, admit it.
I think, along the
How to
lines
edit.
of the text is that, I'd still now and then go back to the generic titler, and I haven't really always mastered the generic or the essential graphics that supposedly replaced it, and doing scrolling titles and credits and all that kind of stuff.
Essential graphics panel. Yeah.
Can you even get into that older text thing without having an older project that's got a text?
You mean the
built
old
in there?
text?
The old legacy, yeah.
That well, as of a couple days ago, the latest version of Premiere dumped it, so you cannot access the legacy title creation anymore.
Like even with an old project, it won't.
If you open up an old project with legacy titles, there is some sort of conversion or converter that takes over and makes them new. But yeah, the last version was the last one to sort of support that and have that in it. The 23, which just dropped a couple days ago, got rid of that. But yeah, essential graphics panel would be a good one to cover. We covered that years ago, but there's been a lot that's been added to it. So yeah, I think, and I've actually been using it a lot more lately and actually really kind of getting into it. So that would be definitely worthwhile to cover.
That old titler was actually really good. The one that they had purchased from somebody else and integrated it into Premiere, which I guess that's what the legacy titler is, right? There wasn't one in between.
No, the old one that would open up with the box and all the
Yeah, because you had so much more control over the characters and like shading inside of them, and like the kerning and leading had much more granular control than you have now. And
I think that I know in this latest version, they've added some new stuff to it. I don't know if it's those particular things, but I know for, adding inner strokes, outer strokes for centering and just a lot of that stuff is in there now.
even just kerning individual characters, like you can't do that anymore, where you used to be able to hit, I think, just the Alt and the arrow key to go back and forth, like similar to an old Chiron character generator for those of us old enough to have used them back in the early 90s.
Back in the day.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, yeah, the Essential Graphics panel. Definitely I'll put that on the list. And I think I know a couple people that might be able to present on that. So see if we can find somebody. So we got 4 things. Anything else? Otherwise, DJ and I are just going to pick topics out of a hat and you have to get stuck with what we pick.
I'd like some of that too.
It
Whatever
would,
you guys think we should know.
it would be cool to learn how to do some titles in After Effects, kind of basic maybe, or advanced, whatever you guys, would be interested in. Because I was listening to this one guy in Adobe Max. He's the guy that wrote the, what's it called? Premiere Pro in a box or something. I can't remember his name, but he was showing titles in Premiere and I was like, wow, that's really clunky. I was kind of not impressed. So,
Oh, no, that's interesting.
yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. He wrote the essential book on Premiere Pro that,
Hold on.
yeah, you probably have it.
It's in his bathroom.
Hey,
He's got it.
It's good toilet reading. No, is it this? The cool stuff in Premiere Pro?
No, no, his name's not there. And I don't know how to, let me look it up. Yeah.
Was it Greenberg?
There's that
Jeff
much cool
Greenberg?
stuff in Premiere. That's a pretty
No,
big book.
no, but I can
This
tell
book
you.
is ginormous, by the way. I mean, I've read through some of it, but there's a lot in here. So
It's a big book.
yeah. But yeah, no, I think titles, doing titles in After Effects or Premiere would be good. I'm seeing a lot of After Effects. DJ, you better stick around, man, because it sounds like you're going to be busy.
Now, when you're talking
I've not had
about,
anything going on. It's fine. I'll be fine.
when you talk about titles, you're also talking about like opening credits and all types of fancy stuff on how that gets interspersed with the background B-roll or whatever's there.
Yes, anything, moving titles. What was that guy's name? Oh, yeah, Maxim Jago.
Oh yeah, we know that guy.
I knew it was one of 3 guys. I was
Yeah, he wrote it doesn't even have the name of the book here. Well, anyway, yeah.
to quote Spicoli from Fast Times, I know that dude.
Oh, here, Premiere Pro Classroom in a Book. That's
Yep.
what it's called.
Oh yeah.
I spoke at his conference this year. So yeah.
Oh,
So DJ probably knows it better than we do. So
what's the name of his conference?
Creativity conference. It was supposed to be in Iceland. It was live because there's been this thing going around. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called COVID. It sucks. And so there's been a lot of that. But yeah, maybe next year we'll all go to Iceland.
were you gonna go to Iceland?
Yeah, the plan was all along was to be in Iceland in August up until like July 1st when COVID kind of cranked back up again over the summer.
Right.
Like the Icelandic government got a little shaky and we're like, we might close the borders, we might not. And that's when he had to call the whole thing off. But it was gonna happen.
Was he gonna
yeah.
pay for you to go to Iceland?
Yeah, me and
Burns?
Stephen Burns were headed. Yeah, we were gonna be in Reykjavik.
Wow. Did you get that, just out of curiosity? Did you get that gig through Steven or did he reach out to you to Max?
It was through Stephen. I last year I remember because I wanted to go to Iceland. I've been there, but I wanted to go back. And I asked Stephen, I was like, dude, how are you gonna, like, how did you speak at the conference? And he's like, I've been looking for someone to collaborate on a talk with. Let's chat. And so we chatted, we came up with a talk. And yeah, it was
Okay.
strangely enough about how to pick collaborative partners, and we worked out really well. We gave a great speech. I was really happy with the presentation too.
Yeah, I watched part of it. I didn't get to see, I forget why I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but yeah, no, cool. Okay, so titles, got it. It's written down. All right, couple more things, then we'll get to why we're all here tonight. Anything else?
Audition is always good, but don't have any specific requests. But when it comes down to audio, there's always that most important thing, more important than the video, that we tend to wait until the last minute to fix.
Yeah, no, audition. Yeah, I think there's always more to mine audio wise. I know it's my weakest point. So for guys like Pat, who's in this meeting, who are audio gurus, you know, guys like him know it all. But
guru's the term, but guru adjacent, maybe. I don't know.
Here's a question. This might just be a true or false question, or you might turn it into a whole meeting. I don't know. But 32-bit float seems to come in and work just fine. And if things were captured really loud and you turn it down, you have flat tops on your waveforms, but it's not really clipped. It only looks clipped on the waveform. Is that right?
If it's not clipped all the way up to 0, you're talking about trying to recover some of that, like with the declip effect, or
no, I'm talking about the fact that if you're not familiar with 32-bit float recording, there's no such thing as clipping anymore, basically, because
there is, because
dynamic ranges.
You
can overload the mic.
You
can overload the mic. But anyway, when you bring it in and it's really loud and you turn it down, it sounds fine, but the waveforms look like it's clipped. And I just wonder if that's something they just haven't caught up with, or if my ears just are bad.
I think that's a function of the 32-bit, where you have that extra headroom. So you could, in theory, put a limiter on it that would bring those peaks back down. But yeah, I don't know. I know that everybody's all in love with the whole 32-bit recording thing, but I don't know.
You're not on board yet.
No, because there's still way too many things that can go wrong. I mean, it's like using autofocus. It's like the pro audio guys have been working without it for 100 years, and so you can still get really good sound if you just know what you're doing. It's just a way to be lazy, is how I have always viewed it. Because it's like, well, you don't really have to look, but then you can overload your microphone, and if you clip something else in the chain before you get to the recorder, then that gets recorded, clipped in 32-bit. So you got all the headroom, but you can't do anything with it. So, but I'll stop ranting about that now.
Kind of like, is it equivalent to like shooting raw?
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
I mean,
like thinking, I can open up the iris, and I know that I'm going to have all this headroom, where maybe you do, maybe you don't.
You can, with a capable mic, you can have a revving dragster record that, walk over to, a bird flapping its wings, and you can bring them both into plenty good range.
Yeah, the problem is that most people they don't have that expensive of a microphone that can handle that kind of dynamic range to do it. And those are the people, I think, that are thinking that the 32-bit's going to save themselves. But
So you saying my Sennheiser lav mic won't handle that?
There's influencers
your
online.
Lavs probably won't, but
there's influencers online saying they felt the way you feel until they really investigated. But that's as far as I'll take it. I don't claim to any kind of expertise.
Well, that might be a worthwhile thing to sort of, I don't know if that, we can tie it into, post-production and sound and all that kind of stuff, but recording in 32-bit.
I'm all about 32-bit in post-production though, because then when you are putting effects on it, you have a lot more accurate translations when you're using effects, but it's the recording part that I'm not 100% convinced on.
Okay. All right. last chance. Anybody got anything? Anything final here? Okay. All right. Well, DJ and I will do what we do every year. We will meet at a secret location in Mira Mesa called Islands, where we will have burgers and discuss meeting topics, usually sometime in November.
Yep, we will spend 1/3 of the time talking about meeting topics and 2/3 of the time talking about other things,
Other
and
things.
it'll be awesome.
I can guarantee you that's
How'd you get that 1/3 in there?
because
Very focused.
we sit down and we end up talking, and then like the bill shows up and it's like, oh, okay, so let's do meeting topics. You know, while I'm figuring out the tip, we put everything together.
Yep.
So and that's really no joke. But anyway, but yeah, I wanted to say too, like we did a pretty good job this year. We actually made a list of topics to cover for this year, and I think almost all of them got covered. So, you know, and it's all based on what we did just now last year. You know, putting together, listening to you all and putting something together. And I'm going to put something up on the Facebook group page too, and kind of, you know, get ideas from there too. So can't promise that we'll cover everything, but we will do our best. So.
And something I'm going to throw out, and we don't have to talk about it now because I think we have too small a group to be representative. We should get together and do this in person. Might be a good idea.
I concur. This actually came up, I think, last month in the meeting that you were absent from. But because you have a good excuse, no grudges. But no,
Right.
it actually came up. But you know, the thing that I will say, and we can talk about this, you know, later too. But the problem has been finding a location. You know, that I've actually reached out to a few people, and you know, it just seems like nobody. The level of support just isn't what it used to be. You know, and finding some space that will let us come in, you know, give us the support that we need, you know, at night, you know, when most people have gone home and things like that. And, you know, so I'm all for that. And I would love to do that. And I think you're right. I think we need to get back to some sort of hybrid, you know, or if not all in person again. Totally agree. I'm over Zoom, but, you know, but I think if we're going to do that, we got to find a place. So I guess I say all that to say, if anybody here knows a place central in town that would sort of everybody could get to, you know, in a reasonable amount of time and traffic, you know, we are open in all ears because we definitely would love to do that.
Yeah,
I would.
The best central location is between Miramar and Mira Mesa Boulevard because all the traffic is going the opposite direction at that time of night, so you can get there easily. But you know, when we had the original meetings way back in the very beginning down at that Qualcomm place, that was great at that time.
That was the very
that
first
theater. Yeah.
Yeah, that auditorium doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't. They've torn it up. But when we did the AB5 meeting, that's the auditorium that replaced it. And unfortunately, yeah, we don't have access to that anymore the way we did back then. I was doing a lot of work for Qualcomm back then, and I was able to sort of finagle it through a few connections. But I'm going to check with the library down here and see if I can get anything there. And, you know, I'll try to figure something out. We'll see if we can find a new home.
There's a place I know of in Liberty Station too, which makes me cringe because that's like the furthest point in the county from where I live, seemingly. I mean, it's not, but it just feels like it. But that might be a good.
Yeah.
Might have an in there.
But well, like you're saying with the public library, I wonder even just the local branches, if you could rent out the meeting spaces. Like I know Rancho Bernardo's got a pretty big room, so I wonder if some of the others do, like Penasquitas or Mira Mesa or something, and you'd be or Tierra Santa or somewhere that's
the one that's over near the one that's in Mission Valley is a newer library. I would think the newer ones probably have the new, more advanced meeting space. And there's one over by the IKEA, if you know Mission Valley at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be worth checking out. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I think we need to get back to in-person meetings, and you know, and for those of you who don't live close and can't make those, we will find a way to get meetings online. So don't worry, we're not going to give up our online audience. So, and one thing I will say, because I am recording this and other members will see it who aren't here, is that one thing we will try to do next year is be more on schedule. If we say our meetings are going to be the third Wednesday of the month, they will be on the third Wednesday. If we're going to move that day, we'll move it. But this year was really chaotic for both DJ and I, with work and stuff coming up, and just those third Wednesdays just didn't work out. And so I apologize for some of that crazy scheduling. I actually thought about moving this meeting to next week just because Max is finishing up and some other stuff going on. But I thought, no. Third Wednesday.
Didn't want it to conflict with World Series games. So
Well, that's actually the truth, but no, there actually won't be a World Series game next Wednesday, because there's a playoff game Monday and Tuesday. Because if it goes to Game 7, I will be at that Game 7 at Petco. So, but that's Tuesday night. So
What
There
would
we
you
go.
have done if the game today was a night game? Would you have canceled this meeting and moved it to another day?
somebody mute Pat. All right, we're moving on.
Yeah.
I think I would have gotten a call at some point that said, "Here's the meeting credentials."
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Fly
question is
on your own,
how many
buddy.
people would show up to the meeting though? Like you might
Yeah,
be the only
well, like
one.
the game went super long today, and I literally ran back from the ballpark over here to get this thing up and running. So, but anyway, let's move on. So, okay, so I've got a list here of stuff, just so you people know, I actually write stuff down. And DJ and I will add to that list. We'll come up with some stuff. Before we actually get started, one thing too I wanted to mention, if you didn't know, whenever there's Max, there are new versions of everything out. So Premiere is updated to 23. I think everything's 23 now. They've kind of just streamlined it all. After Effects has a ton of stuff that we will cover probably maybe in January or February. We'll talk about all the new stuff in After Effects. There's a lot of really cool stuff in After Effects and really cool stuff that's coming. And then Premiere got a kind of cool update, nothing super huge, a lot of graphics. It's mostly graphic stuff to the Essential Graphics panel. And again, we can talk about that next year when we get together, a little bit more in depth. But yeah, I would encourage you all to update. I would also encourage you all to not remove the previous versions. I only say that because you never know what kind of weird, quirky bugs are going to come up. If you started a project in 22, finish it in 22. Don't necessarily move it over to 23. Just because, listen, it's new version. They supposedly tested it, but you never know. We've seen weird stuff happen in the past. So, but definitely download it, start playing with it. So, because there is some new cool stuff in it. So, unless DJ, do you have anything other announcements before we switch over and start showing some videos?
I don't think so.
All right.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Let's do that. All right, let's look at this. Okay, so I just threw these. Oh, wait, I have to share. I gotta remember how to do this now. Advanced sharing options. Post only on. Okay. I know I need to share audio, and I always forget how to do that. Maybe more here. Share sound. There it is. Okay. So I just threw these together in no particular order. So please don't get mad if you're not first. I just sort of grabbed them and used the auto import, and it just sort of sorted everybody. So I just went with that. So Len, I believe you are first here. Let's see. Yes, you are. Normally I would put the ladies first. Because, ladies first, I got manners. That's the way I was raised. However, Premiere decided to put the man first. And so, me. So
Maybe you saved the best for last.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Bob. See, I saved the best work for last. So Len, before we show yours, is there anything you want to set it up with? Tell us what we're about to see.
Sure. So my girlfriend and I, have been trying to do more filmmaking stuff, and she has good story ideas, and I've been trying to get her to use, to start playing with Final Draft. We're also 48-hour film project nerds, and so they have this online random element generator that we played with and came up with a set of elements. And from that, she wrote this little story, and I go, I think I'd like to try shooting that. And I think I don't want to mess with actors. I don't want to make them wait for me while I fumble around. So I'm going to play all 3 parts. So that's my little intro. Really? Jared, I know you've always been hesitant about pot because it's illegal, but we're past that now. You can smoke with the rest of us. You don't have to use the air quotes. It was illegal. And as far as actually doing it, I'm still not sure. What's it going to do to me? What if I have a bad reaction? Don't stress over it. Steven and I do it all the time, ever since they stopped testing for THC at work. There's a few small things that might happen, but it's really not a big deal. Like what, Lewis? Well, you might have some paranoia. You might hear things or see things or think something. But really, it's rarely like that. Usually, it's just a mellow, relaxed feeling. You might even feel a little bit giggly. Of course, you're new to smoking, so you might cough a little bit. Please tell me that's not what I think it is. Man, where'd you go? You look kind of freaked out. No, I'm fine. What else? Well, it's not all bad. Then there's the munchies. Let's just hope you got plenty of snacks on hand. Jared, you okay, man? We could order a pizza. Munchies! Honestly, I don't think this is going to be for me. It had company.
I saw.
Like what? Like a cat scratching paper? That the kind of thing I might hear? Or jingling of a cat's collar? I might hear that. It might be there. You don't know. That's it.
Good job.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So are you gonna go, I'm assuming you're gonna go back and reshoot the scenes that still need to be reshot?
That's the plan. It's taking me forever to get through this thing, but yeah, I'll probably still working on it, keep working on it.
How are you gonna do the lung?
Oh,
We are thinking about carving it out of something that we get from the from the butcher. You can't actually get a lung. So we'll see. We
Like
don't know.
a human lung, like off the black market?
oh,
I know a guy.
I know.
I know a couple of special effects makeup people who would probably love to do this, but they probably want to be paid. So I'm not sure if I are going to take it that far. So
Go for the real thing, man. That would be far more like crazy. I mean, not obviously a human lung.
right.
If you
But
got a
like-
giant cow liver or something, that might
Yeah.
fake enough
something like
people
that.
out.
You bring the
Yeah.
shovels, I'll bring the beers. Meet me at the cemetery.
Yeah, we've been brainstorming how to handle that.
Well, very good. Yeah, I mean, it seems like you still obviously have some roto work and some other stuff to do on that. But
Yeah.
good on you for like creating the eye line. You know, like just I mean, yeah. That's not an
Oh,
easy
sure.
sort of thing to do, to sort of put yourself in all three roles and then to sort of figure out how to shoot it and the eye lines and to get all that to work the way that you did. So
Yeah. And the
Thank you.
performance was fantastic to be
Yeah.
talking to yourself, but talking to a tennis
Yeah.
ball, like really nice.
I've been acting a lot longer than I've been behind the camera. So
no, good job.
Good
Thanks.
job. Yeah. Wow.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
You want to tell us what we're about to see?
I sent you 3. And I
Right.
said,
So I used 2. So I think there was one called Sundance.
oh yeah.
And then I used the Google thing. So
Oh, cool.
I figured I would do those 2. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I took an Avid class back in 2000, right? On a weekend at Montana Edit. And I really liked it. And I kind of got talked out of doing it, doing editing by a friend of mine who was an editor. Actually, she was nominated for an Oscar for editing. So she will remain nameless. And I went to lunch with the teacher, and the teacher said, honey, it's a horrible business. And I kind of listened to him. So for the next 20 years, I did 2 other jobs, two other professions. And just recently, last spring, I decided I'm going to take an editing class. So I'm taking a class at Saddleback, and I'm in the second part for fall. So this is couple of the things I did last spring.
I think my wife took a film class there, by the way. My wife, before I met her, lived in Orange County, holy crap, what's right north of us?
San
San
Clemente.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my wife lives in San Clemente when I met her, and
Oh.
she had taken some film classes at Saddleback. Now that you mention it, so
Yeah, no, it's a neat program. Yeah, it's not Montana Edit in Santa Monica, but the teacher that I have, Eddie Kim, he's great, and it's all remote. It's all, you do it when you have time. And
Cool.
Yeah.
all right. Well, here we go. By the way, is everything playing okay?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So last year, I think we had some stuttering and some other stuff, but I got fiber internet down here, so I want to believe that's making the difference. So, all right, here we go.
I did notice some audio stumbling that wasn't in sync, whether it's just me or whatnot, I'm not sure. I'm on the road in a motel, so could be that.
Could
Oh,
be
okay.
that.
All right, here we go.
Someone's face is telling a story. And so they don't need to say 20 things. They can say one thing, and their face says the other 19, which is awesome because the human face is like the most fascinating thing to look at. Hi, my name's Francis Badomo, and I am the writer-director of Afronauts. I'm from Ghana. I grew up in Norway and Hong Kong. And so I was always moving around, always seeing sort of new things, new worlds, and I always wanted to tell stories because of that. I wanted to tell stories, but I also wanted to tell them in ways that sort of, in new ways. And that's why I wanted to become an artist. First, I wanted to be a poet. And I think that quickly became filmmaking, which I think are very similar art forms. And so, yeah, the inspiration for Afronauts was definitely just the complex zaniness of the story. So in the 1960s, right after independence, a group of Zambians decided to build a rocket in an attempt to go to the moon. And this was the moon, like the moon era, moon fever. This was before America made it. And so it wasn't like, it was a time of exploration and possibility. And it's just a story that explores like imagination, radical imagination, but also the attempt to prove yourself in the gaze of people that don't think that you're worthy. And so I was in film school and I was just like, I have to make this movie and this is the only thing I'm thinking about right now. So let's get this like jerry-rigged spacesuit and let's go onto a beach and tell this story. When I heard the story, the images came to me that the casting would have to be, of the lead would have to be of an African woman with albinism. And I think that on two levels, on the poetic level where I was like the daughter of the moon and this person who's so different from everyone around her, but like kind of made for the moon. Like there's a line in the script where he's like, you know, we're black, we're made for the sun, you know, this scorching sun, this is what our skin is made for, but you're made for the moon. You deserve that, that's your thing. And for this girl to be in a space where she's privileged, I just was like, yeah, in Eastern Africa, there's like really poor treatment of people with albinism, and just to explore somebody who's in a culture where she's so the other. I think one, you cast people that you can't stop looking at because I think that that's very necessary. And that's not like pretty people, that's like just enthralling people who you want to see every corner of their face, because that's kind of like at least 50% of like framing them up and putting them in your world. But I think that the biggest thing I've learned, or the sort of change in my process, has been that when you think of yourself as a director and you start making movies, you think you have to tell the actors what to do. You start in a room and they just start running the scene. They start running the scene, and they come up against all those questions, but they run through it. And as they're doing that, they kind of answer those questions for themselves. And because they're answering those questions for themselves, they end up making it emotionally logical, not just intellectually logical. And that is a fascinating thing to see. I am intensely excited for the Composers Lab. I think it's the only thing that would get me out of my bed so close to the director and writers lab. My advice for young filmmakers is like, tell stories from the heart, because you think that if you reference the best people, that's a good film. You think if you have the best equipment, that's going to make your film good. You think if you're shooting with the right aspect ratio and color correcting in the right way, that's what's going to get your movie into Sundance. Telling stories that you can't not tell, I think, is what has really gotten me into anywhere I've wanted to be.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah, sorry, I probably should have put a little bit more space between those, so that it was a clear sort of, there's two different videos there. So yeah, my bad on that. But
Yeah, no worries.
excellent work. So did Afronauts play at Sundance last year?
I don't know when it played. We were, my teacher at, Saddleback, he was an editor at Sundance. I don't know if he was the lead editor. I think he might have been putting things together. And so we basically were given these clips with the B-roll and kind of an idea of what he was looking for the director to touch on. And so we just put it together. And by the way, I have to tell you, the two, movies that I sent you, I did on Final Cut. This year it's strictly Premiere.
Mute her, get her off.
Yeah, last year it was Premiere and then Final Cut. So I finished with Final Cut. My first Premiere stuff wasn't so great. So
Well,
yeah.
That's okay. So we still love you. I'm kind of curious. I remember, I'm pretty sure I remember that film being in the program for Sundance. So I didn't see it, but I remember, when I saw the title, I'm like, oh, yeah, I kind of vaguely remember that. So that's why I was curious about that. And then,
Afronauts. Mhm.
yeah. And then did you do all the graphics so that's something, did you create that in After Effects, or what did you create that in?
Which one? The second one?
Countdown. Yeah, for the second one.
Oh, he gave us one long, that was a sound project. So he gave us one long, I don't know what you call it. clip.
Okay.
No, it's really short. It's like 27 minutes. And we added, he gave us about 100 sound effects or 200, and we just had to put that together. So
Oh,
that was, yeah.
You didn't do the animation to create the 1 to whatever. You just did the
No,
sound design.
no, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But for Final Cut Pro, the Afronauts, that was two cameras. I'm sorry, my wording for all this is,
No, that's fine.
yeah. So that's the only time I've done 2 cameras where you pick between them, and
Okay.
I live above PCH. I don't know if you can hear the cars, the motorcycle.
No, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
An hour and a half ago, you just heard cheering and screaming outside my windows in the ballpark. So no, don't worry about it. Well, very cool. Very cool. Does anybody else have any questions before we move on?
Thank you.
Afronauts was 2014 Sundance.
Has it been that long?
2014. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was using old footage then. Cool.
What's happening to me? Why is everything just sort of like mushed together in my head? I could have swore that was like 2 years ago. So 2014, Jiminy Christmas. Okay. Well,
BC.
PC. Thank you, Bob. Yes, my life is a mess now. Okay, so Ellen.
Hi
you-
there.
That's before children.
Yeah, yes. BC could be before that too. Ellen, you want to introduce what you're about to show, or we're about to show from you?
Sure. How's my volume coming through? Okay.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, great. Yeah, so these are 3. I do a lot of shooting in different topic areas and educational interviews, weddings. I have a big documentary that's a nature documentary I'm involved with. I do dance videos, music videos, just a whole range of things. I did not shoot most of what's in what you're going to see, so this is more editing focused. So there are 3 very short clips. One is a very short science clip. The second one is an ad. And the second one was done many years ago, so some of the fonts and the transitions are a little bit not current. And then the third one is a very short snippet from a much longer edit. So it should be, these things should be obvious when they play.
All right, here we go. All right. Good job. Nice work. Any questions for Ellen here before I got to switch over here. Let me stop sharing. One more to show here.
So did the text come from Premiere Pro, or how'd you do the text?
You mean in the titles? It's all. Premiere
Yeah,
Pro.
I was thinking of the restaurant ad particularly.
Everything is Premiere Pro.
Sorry, keep going.
That's it.
And
Any other questions?
you said that I mean, because you and I have talked and been working through some stuff. So so that's all footage that's been provided to you, correct? That's so
Correct.
you're
From different
doing the
sources.
editing.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I was going to show something with a lot of stuff I've shot, but I thought this was a little bit more interesting because I also, just like the variety in the music and some of the layering.
Hmm.
I like the dance piece with the manta ray, is it?
Uh-huh.
That was neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job. Well done on everything.
Nice.
Thanks.
All right, DJ, you're the last one. You want to talk about this at all?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so Big Bay Boom, it's downtown San Diego. They set off the fireworks. Fox called me, said that basically they wanted, the word that I came up with for it was Glamericana, which very much spoke to my vibe. So they wanted it, it to be very USA heavy because it's July 4th, but they didn't want it to be like wood and tapestry and like that kind of, like Jasper Johns kind of thing. So, so they came to me, the opposite of Jasper Johns, I guess. And yeah, so I made this for them, and this is the piece that I kind of put together. The amazing thing was, like, I think the entire thing ran basically without notes. Like, these are all first drafts that they just, like, they gave me pretty much creative freedom. Like, once I nailed, like, the only notes were like, can the timing change a little bit just to kind of make sure that it matched their voiceover or what they needed. But like from a design perspective, I think everything basically ran as a first draft. The reason I made this little mega mix was there was a shot of Petco Park that they didn't get to use because of an agreement with Petco Park, and I thought it looked too cool to not include, so it's in there.
This is the director's cut, editor's cut.
Yeah, this is the editor's cut. So
all right, here we go. Nice.
Cool. We were
Very
seeing
nice.
it pretty choppy, I think, but I totally got the picture.
yeah, thanks.
I was
Yeah,
going to
very
ask you
nice.
that yeah, you're right. That shot of Petco Park is great. So
Yeah, so that was the initial plan, was we were gonna have like in the because there were 3 opens for this and a bunch of, like, it was just, there was a lot of content because it's the biggest thing, like the next biggest kind of holiday event that's broadcast anywhere in the country is the Christmas parade, like Macy's Christmas parade. So you get into like it's the biggest one that's not national, and they're working on that. But with that said, there was a lot of content, and we were going to have only those like that, because they told me they want, like, the only direction I was given on maps was we don't want it to look like a traffic map. So I did this kind of weird Blade Runner thing that I totally thought they were going to shoot down. Like, I sent it knowing it was going to get totally axed, and they loved it. And from what I heard, the Next Star, like, so like the owner of the Fox station, like, they sent one of their regional VPs. And when they showed that, he turned around to the guy that brought me on and was like, "That's cool." So I was like, there we go. I was pretty happy with that.
Was
But
that
yeah, we
pretty
were only gonna
After
use-
Effects heavy there?
Really Cinema 4D. It's all 3, it was all 3D. I mean, it was composited in After Effects, and like, I definitely didn't get it looking that good only in Cinema 4D. But it was Cinema 4D and a lot of like Sapphire, like Boris Sapphire in After Effects, just to help me with the color, because Boris Sapphire is a very expensive but pretty glow. And Yeah, it worked out great. So
Cool.
Awesome as always, man. All right. Well, I don't have anything else to show, so
Aw.
that's it. Well, I was actually going to try to show something, and then the game went long, and so I didn't have anything to throw in. So just
You don't have a highlight reel from the game?
do I got some cool pictures I could show. I got the crowd cheering, you know. I got some cool kid videos if you want to see those. Before we do the raffle, I just want to say, you know, thank you to everybody for coming out this past year, and you know, I hope you all get something out of it. I'm trying to remember how many years we've been doing the group, but let's see. So 2019 was 10. We're how many years past that? 1, 2, 3. So 13.
13, right?
Lucky 13. Woohoo! So next year will be 14 years. We've been doing the group, and yeah, I hope you all get stuff out of it. You know, it's a lot of fun to put together, and yeah, it's fun to run. So all right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for coming out to this meeting. I know it wasn't a big meeting, and you know, but I love all of you, and thank you for coming out. It means a lot to me. We will be back. We take November and December off, just because DJ and I are tired. And we both have small children, and we need 2 months off. So, and we've got to go to Islands to plan out next year's meeting. So, but no, we will be back in January, and I'm sure I'll be posting stuff and little tips and things like that. Until then, to tide you over, because I know you just can't get enough of posts from me on Facebook and Meetup. But I want to wish you all happy holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate between now and then January 1st. Happy New Year too. Lump that in there. I wish you the best, and I hope you have a good couple months. And if you have any issues that come up, feel free to ping me. It's not like I'm just going to be like, no way, we're on break, leave me alone. You know, if anything comes up, feel free to reach out to me. But I hope you have a great holiday season, and yeah. And we will see you back in 2020. I almost said 2024, 2023. So
Thank you.
Thanks,
all right,
Eric.
everybody. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for all you do.
No problem. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah.
see you on the 18th of January.
JD.
Is that our
Yeah.
first meeting?
That's our first meeting.
All right,
All right.
January 18th. That's
Happy
like
New Year.
right
Happy
before I
New
leave for
Year.
Sundance. Woohoo!
Woohoo. All right.
All right, everybody.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.